Hi, I'm Bob Duffy, and welcome to this episode of Innovating at Home, a video series where we're discussing with developers how they're coping with the COVID-19 pandemic and how they are innovating at home in sustainable ways, helping themselves and their community. In this episode, we're talking with Soubhik Das, and he's joining us from a remote location in India. So if his mic isn't perfect, that's a little bit why that's going on. But we want to talk with Soubhik because he's been focused on telemedicine and teleneurology. So Soubhik, welcome to the show.
Hi Bob, thanks a lot for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Excellent. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. And I first want to talk to you about how you experienced the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, it impacted me in a lot of ways. So going from the start of the year, I was into robotics and machine learning, which is obviously still my domain of specialization. But entering 2020, on a general note, hasn't been easy on a personal front. I'm sure many and almost everyone, if not literally everyone, would be with me on this topic. If we have known someone in our family who's suffering from some other illness, COVID-19 is really threatening. Let's talk about a specific condition, mental disorder or neurological disorder. Essentially, the people whose brain or nervous system is affected. It's a challenge for them in the sense that they have to remain homebound, which if at all makes a difference, makes matters worse. Some of the similar challenges include not getting other necessary items to do at moments, such as washing hands frequently, staying as hygienic as possible. So these activities, they come quite naturally to us, but they don't come as naturally to people with some sort of a brain disorder. On those lines, it's kind of a real challenge for people with an existing health condition.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your vision for teleneurology? And you said it's really focused on those with neurological disabilities. So tell us about this vision.
I am interested in a new platform that caters to the needs of patients with neurological disorders. There have been reasons behind this. On a personal front, I've been with someone really close in my family suffering from this, and I've seen the challenges, I've read about them. I was always interested in being a part of a healthcare project, and if there is anything I would like to work on, it would be teleneurology platform wherein the needs of a neurological patient would be catered. I'm still envisioning the way ahead. I'm trying to help the patients in the entire journey, starting from visiting a neurologist to getting along with the caregivers later.
So you mentioned the caregiver. Can you tell us how this service involves them?
Yeah, caregivers would be at the forefront of the application. There's a reason behind this. At a later stage, when patients can't do most of the activities themselves or the tasks themselves on a day-to-day basis, caregivers have to do it on their behalf. So the caregivers are not aware of what is yet to come, and on a general note, the idea is to make them more aware on that front. As I discussed, that they are going through a lot of emotional and psychological turmoil. They need a helping hand in a way which will be providing. We have set a set of services planned for them as well.
Yeah, and I understand your father is an inspiration for part of your work. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so my father has always been an inspiration to me right from the start, right from when I was young. When he were well, he inspired me towards greater things in life. Now when he's in one of the later stages of dementia, it feels as if he's showing me a path towards a problem that is to be solved certainly. I believe unknowingly he has shown me the direction towards what needs to be done, and I do believe that I'm fortunate enough to see the problems in the form of challenges when they present themselves.
Many of the developers that we're talking to who are looking at new interesting ways to develop during the pandemic have focused on sustainability. Can you tell us if this application is also focused on helping sustainability issues?
So in my case, neurological illnesses would never go away at all, and no matter how much ever we try in the next few years. But in the fact, the window of affected patients would keep increasing, unfortunately, and we need to cater to their needs. We need to help them, and irrespective of an outcome, the digitized form of need would always remain. So that's how sustainability plays a role in my project.
That's fantastic. And sustainability is definitely something Intel is focused on. We just released our 2030 goals for sustainability. And there's also a program around it called Rise With Us. So folks, you can look at that. It's hashtag Rise With Us. And it's an acronym. And I think about this project specifically to the R, which stands for responsibility. And that's where Intel believes that we need to be responsible when we're developing new technology and we're helping others move forward with it. We do it in a way that focuses and helps people's health and safety. And that's exactly what I believe this is trying to do. So Soubhik, I'd like to talk about the remote nature of this. Obviously, we're all working more remote because of the pandemic. Those who are suffering from disabilities like dementia may not be in urban cities. They may be out in remote areas. Do you think that this technology will help those who are essentially more distributed out into various locations?
That's one of the beauties of digitization, to be very honest. People can leverage digital technology to help reach out to people not in urban areas or not in close proximity to the specialist doctor needed unless it's a medical emergency. COVID-19 pandemic has been an otherwise negative emotion today, and people are leveraging digital technology to solve most of the problems. People should be able to use our services as long as they have a stable internet connection. Irrespective of urban or rural areas, dense or scarcely populated, people would consistently be able to use it over time.
Soubhik, before we go, could you tell our audience where they can learn more about this topic and maybe how they can contact you if they want to join this project?
Neurology is not a field that is talked a lot, although neuroscience is heavily trending. This is partly because most of the neurological diseases have no cure. To know more about the project and the emerging healthcare field in general, I would recommend trying to understand this particular domain of healthcare in detail. Right now, this project is still under consideration, so it's difficult to say in exact terms, but I can say that when the bare minimum of the project is ready, to contact me. Overall, talking to people who are essentially the patients and caregivers would give everyone a greater window of what is happening.
That's excellent, Soubhik. Thank you very much for taking time and joining us on this episode of Innovating at Home.
Thank you, Bob. I really liked answering the questions.
Well, that wraps this episode of Innovating at Home. I want to thank my production crew and thank you for joining us. Until next time, we'll see you innovating at home.